What's going on, guys? Sitting here in traffic. Figured I'd do a little video. I think I've been wanting to do a video for the public for a long time. And at first, because people that do know me know that I'm fairly knowledgeable, and that doesn't really mean anything. I've had a lot of experience in religious and theological studies, and I guess I'm a type of person who's been given an ability to communicate with people to a certain degree, but I felt like previous aspirations to do a video like this were going to be my ability or my goal was going to be giving a voice to those who may feel like they're underrepresented and they may not have the words to express how they feel as far as race relations are concerned, or relationship issues are concerned, or personal struggle concerns, struggle-based politics. But just jump on Facebook, jump on Twitter. There's plenty of people talking about struggle-based politics. Okay, I don't think anybody needs any more struggle. Anybody else explaining the struggle? Because like most things, if I'm talking about race, say for instance, I was making a video about the struggle of being black in America, being a black male in America, or whatever have you be. It doesn't matter how well I explain it. It doesn't matter what words I explain it, because you're talking about something spiritual. You're talking about something that is in a context of a soul that someone cannot mentally understand until they have experienced it. And that experience is a soul reality. And so that kind of leads me into actually why I am doing the video today. Forgive me the silly introduction, but religious videos, if I were to tell you about God and all the different mechanics of God, you'll find plenty of videos for that as well. But the thing is with that, then the illusion could possibly be that I am making a religious suggestion to resolve a conflict, to resolve a struggle. And primarily what I'm going to talk about today, I do believe has religious value. I believe even the context is religious. But it's mostly going to be about identity and self-identity. And because a person is mind, body, and spirit, self-identity is going to involve all three of those. And typically, where we'll find our most amount of conflict is in identifying with one more so than the other, mind, body, or soul. A person is not one or the other. You're not body or mind or soul. You're a combination of all three. And how you typically identify yourself in the beginning will result of how you end up. That has a lot to do with your destination. And I want you to take a second, as I've had to take a moment of clarity, as the universal consciousness, as you know, as God, has made all things available to everyone. It's not something I'm specially privileged to. All things hidden shall be revealed. It's just a matter of, have we given time to consider these things? When you think about black, white, ugly, pretty, fat, skinny, sure, there's observable context clues to all those things, okay? You have some share in reality to those things. But typically, not all fat people act the same, not all black people act the same, not all white people act the same. So it's sometimes difficult when you're making like a blanket assertion about any of these cultural contexts in which people identify themselves. Gay people act this way, lesbian people act this way. And it's nice to be able to generally say something in which all of us can relate. But the fact is, you can't make a one-size-fits-all, identity for anybody. Because there are different levels of consciousness and confidence that certain people, may exude that tries to, say for instance, you get a white guy that says, well, look, all black people are in the struggle. Look at this guy. He's successful. Look at him. He's confident. All you got to do is do that. Be him. And for all those outside of that demographic of celebrity or athlete or whatever it is, you're going to say, well, I mean, you can't just say that. You can't just say this is the exception and not the rule. And, that doesn't apply to everybody. Big people could say that. You say, well, look at that person. She's big and beautiful. Look at that guy. He's big and he's confident. Look at him. He gets girls all the time. And then, the rest of the demographic would say, well, just because that guy is like that doesn't mean I am. If you notice the pattern that I'm speaking of, it is identity. How that person perceives the world through the lens of whomever they are, black, white, quote-unquote ugly, quote-unquote pretty, is based upon perception. And how much the perception of others influences their own personal perception. That's why you can't paint yourself into a corner, giving yourself rules about who you are. You can't give yourself rules about what it means to be a black person. Because the moments you do, then you have created the boundaries and the limits of who you will be. Remember we talked about that earlier. This has direct influence upon your destination. If you spend more time identifying with a particular struggle, whether it is the struggle of being a female, the struggles of being white, the struggles of being black, the struggle of being a minority, the struggle of not speaking a particular language, the struggle of not being smart enough according to someone else's standards, the struggle of not being a college graduate, the struggle of being from the country, the struggle of being from the city. But if you notice that everyone can identify with a struggle if they so choose to. It can become the makeup of your being. It can become the fabric of your mentality, and your body follows suit because you're not just your mind. If everyone in your demographic shares, everyone in your peer group shares the same mentality, well, that's no surprise because you all identify similarly. If you were raised in the hood, then there's a strong chance you will identify with other people raised in the hood. But are there exceptions? Of course. Of course, because the identity difference, okay? And what is the identity? What is that?